Hey guys, Jess from Knockout Print Shop, and today I have for you my April 2020 planner spread flip through. So we're just going to quickly go through all of my spreads for this month, kind of explain to you how they worked, what I would change, all that stuff to give you an idea of how I plan on a weekly basis. I did do 2 plan with me's this past month to kind of show you more of my process as I actually plan for a particular week, but this again will kind of show you an overview. Okay, so as you know, if you've watched my videos before, my month view is fairly simple. I don't really use it much at all. I use our month labels to just mark down time-based things, appointments, events, biannual, annual, irregular bills that are due, things like that. So it's mostly client stuff, bills, all that. So that is how I use, and then I do use the color coding system for Makse Life. So red ones being work, this one being home, and then finance. So that's pretty much how I've been using my monthly. I don't know if I'll change that going forward into the next month. I'll probably keep it as is. Oh, the one little thing I did do is I used a mini flag and wrote an S on it here for this is the day that I fed my sourdough starter. So I need to keep doing that because I have been a little bit inconsistent with feeding my starter, and I also need to start using my contact lens icon because I've been horrible about making sure I change my contacts every 2 weeks. So those might be the only 2 additions in May. But we shall see. Okay, so we're not going to do the goal stuff. We'll do that in the goal planning video I'll do after this. Okay, so here was the first week of April, and I really do love this color combination. This is yellow, obviously, and gray, and I think this was, I can't remember if this is from the Makse palette or the Inkwell Press palette. I think this is Makse's yellow. I think this is the Makse yellow and then the grayscale. So the Makse yellow, I think I used like a sampler sheet, and then I think I used our grayscale 4-sheet kit for the gray. Okay, so that's how I did this. And this was my traditional split layout this first week. What I essentially did was used our dividers, I put a to-do flag and ran my to-do list here on this right column or middle, and then kept time-based things over here on the left, and then had some personal stuff here on the far right box. This system works really well, but you will see that I do change this in the coming weeks after this. Essentially just using check boxes, alternating these 2 colors. I did use some different icons and things to note various like cleaning tasks. I used a appointment label here for an appointment. I do like using these mini flags and like just either writing a letter in them or $sign for bills, things like that. Used the bigger flags. I did track some work hours, but I did not continually do that the rest of the month. My shoe icon did track my steps, and you'll see I did that through the month of April, and then I will not be doing that in May. I've talked about this before. I need to do a video on it, why I don't really like wearables, but I was doing a 10K challenge just to get myself back in the groove with making sure I'm doing my daily walk. So that's why that's on there. I did use a little flag here, wrote highlights on it to write my daily highlight. And I think that's pretty much it. I do like using these bigger full boxes here on the weekends to kind of note something fun we did, or any, something that's bigger or that took up a lot of time, because I don't use my weekend space that much. So I kind of took a full box, took a solid quarter box, I think, and layered an icon. So we have all the layering going on here. So that is what I did on the weekends. This was just a hike. This was some like a cleaning checklist situation. And that's pretty much it. So that is how week 1 went. All right, we'll bypass the goal stuff. Week 2, I went monochrome, and here's where I switched this layout just slightly by having the left side be for my Coach Jess brand and the right side being for Knockout Print Shop. So I was finding, I think what probably prompted this was I was starting to have longer lists because I was kind of running 2 things simultaneously, and I thought, okay, maybe I can break this up and be a little more strategic about what tasks are for what business or area and feel less like I just have this never-ending list. So this is how I went with my spreads the remaining weeks. I just wrote in the headers and used my mild liner to highlight that. Obviously used check boxes here, and then because I was splitting this in half, I was putting appointment labels relevant to that area on whatever side it was relevant to. So like we had our KO live chat that day, so that went on the Knockout Print Shop side. I had a live chat, I think on Instagram for my Jess stuff, that went on that side. So you can see how I kind of used the space there. And then the far right side, you see I put my step tracker this time. I clearly cannot use my liners. I'm drawing like a kindergartner. And just put other things that were either didn't fit, maybe errands. I created a little errand section here with layering that with a grocery cart, some chore ones. So pretty simple there. Come over here to the weekend. I did use one of our big sticky notes for our hike, a weekend banner. And again, I don't know what my problem was. I literally had like regressed to kindergarten level when it came to like using a marker. So this looks like a hot mess. And then just had some running to-do lists for different chores and tasks we did on those particular days. Did use my time to plan sticker here for highlights. I just hand wrote it and highlighted it, and we have my habit. So this was, again, very simple monochrome. I do like this color, this like smoky teal color. This is, I'm pretty sure this is this I think is an Inkwell Press title pool. So one of our throwback kits. That's what I think this color came from. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me, I'm not 100%. Okay, so that was week 2. Week 3, we go to this like crazy yellow and blue spread I did, and this was using an Inkwell Press, the Caribbean palette from our kits. I'm really actually enjoying using kits and trying to use as many stickers from a kit as I can. It makes things pretty simple. So you see the 2 colors I chose. In this particular day, I took the long divider strip. This is actually meant for the classic or the vertical planner. And I took the long strip and then the little extra strip to make it full length, and then had this here. I'm hoping we can come up with a divider strip that is this full length here, because I would like that to change it up sometimes from having the little individual ones. So I'm hoping we can make that happen. I need to tell Matt that because we're doing new releases, working on them today. Okay, so you basically see how I did this. I did add a quote sticker on this particular day because this kind of coordinates color-wise, so that was nice. Use different shaped check boxes to run my list. You can again see the layout here as far as one side being one company, the other side being the other. I did throw in some icons like take product photos. You can see I moved that with an arrow. Then I was supposed to do it here. Then I moved that. There's a lot of moving of tasks with my arrows. I actually end up kind of liking how it looks, but it is more just for fun than very purposeful. Let's see. I did keep with my little box with shoe icon for my step tracking, a few circle icons here for different tasks. I did use a little icon to highlight that I filmed a video that day. Highlights are down here, and just marked some things off, post-it notes, all that stuff. So try to do some layering, some icons, different stuff like that, but fairly simple. I didn't actually use headers on this day. I did just use handwriting and then highlight over it. So that is, I think we're on week 3. Then we bump to week 4, which is that the last week? Oh no, we got 5. Okay, so I don't know what we're on, 4 of the month of April. I went back to Makse Life Colors, and we have kind of a rainbow situation going here. So I just designated a color just randomly for each day and used only the colors for, monochromed each day essentially. I do like how this looks. I do like the vibrancy of the Makse Life colors, and sometimes like to have this kind of rainbow palette. So I just took our different flag shapes and did the same kind of idea with Coach S on one side, KOPS on the other. I ran out of my red dividers, so this looks kind of weird, but you can see that. And then I kept to-dos on one side for the Jess and one for the print shop. And this became like time-based things over here, regardless of what company it was for, and then other random personal tasks. So you can see I was loving our virtual meeting sticker. This is the one where it just has the icon with the text, and I hand drew a box around it. But then I also used our one where it's actually the sticker is the box, in the virtual meeting icon is smaller. So I used both of those, and I really like that sticker. And then I did create some of my own little kind of boxed areas here. Shopping cart for like when we had to run errands, wrote a box around that. Used a little fork and spoon for a cooking task. We churned our ice cream that day. Did use some icons as usual for highlighting different tasks, phone calls, cleaning the house, calling the vet, things like that. Anytime I moved a task over, I did use these arrows here, mini flags again. Sometimes it's just for me to like note something, like different tasks here, kind of another form of a checkbox. And then highlighting things with the coordinating color for that day. Here over on the weekend, I did use our Hello Weekend like header label style guy. ran some to-do lists here, did put a quote sticker, did this little like film plan with me situation with these circle guys. I haven't used this one in a long time, and I do love our shape stickers. I just don't know if I love the shape stickers in the horizontal. I feel like I liked using these more when I used a vertical. So I don't know, that's random, but I just don't like how this looks. And then I kind of did the same thing here with our date night in, took a big box, layered a label over it, and we actually ended up doing that on Friday night, so I have an arrow there. So you can see that's how that went down. Highlights, and then in this particular week, I wrote my habits here and then highlighted each habit based on the coordinating color for that area of life. So that's that guy. All right, then we'll flip to the final one, which was actually not this week, it was last week, and I went back to monochrome again using the teal, and this is the Makse Life teal, both the dark teal and the light teal. That's how I did this spread. Same kind of style as the week before, you can see, but instead of using the thicker shaped arrows and flags, I just used our smaller header, like one line height flag. So I have the divider strips in the dark, and then I use the light teal to make my headers. I ran out of the light teal ones, so for this, I just wrote them and highlighted them. I've really gotten less particular about things looking perfect in my plan. That's just where I'm at planning wise. Like I like it to look nice, but as the week goes on, I'm like, I don't even give a shit. Just like get this stuff down. So you can see I sometimes scribble things out. It's messy. My marker skills are horrible. I don't care. It just needs to work as a planner. So I used our outline check boxes to run my to-do lists. You can see how many times I shifted taking product pictures. Actually, at the time of this filming, we still haven't done that yet. I did use virtual meeting stickers here. Again, the two different styles. For this particular appointment, I just used an outline box with a teardrop and layered those two things. You can see here icons, handmade boxes for different stuff there. My shoe icon for my steps. Again, used the Hello Weekend banner. I'm liking this layering situation here. It takes some space, and it's kind of fun to highlight those things, like bigger fun things just to take up space on the planner. Honestly, it's basically why I do it. And then highlights down here. So that is pretty much how April went. It was very productive as far as like keeping my lists organized, getting things done. There's part of me that's feeling a little bit pulled towards using my vertical again, now that I'm kind of like doing two different businesses, but I'm not 100% sure, because I think kind of what is happening now that I'm splitting this to-do list is there's part of me that's for whatever reason feeling forced to have more things here. So I think I think there's utility to splitting your list in categories. So let's say you have, like, in my situation, you have one business or another business, or maybe you have a business and a side hustle, or maybe you have kids in school. I don't know. So you have different components. And I think it can be super beneficial to keep your lists organized and categorized. And I tend to really like that because that's how my brain works. But again, the problem I'm having is I'm starting to feel like it's making me, now that I have two columns for lists, feeling like I need to do more things, and versus before when I had just one column for a to-do list, like in week one, and this was like time-based things. So because now if I flip ahead to where I'm at this week, like for instance on this day, it's like I don't really have that much going on this side of things, but seeing all this blank space, I'm like, oh, and I have time in my day, I should be doing more. And it's like bringing up these shoulds in my head. So I think what I might do for next week of May is go back to this layout and keep things simpler, versus feeling like I have to fill up a to-do list for each business. So this is becoming too excessive, and it's kind of like feeding into my like do more Jess kind of brain. So I think I need to shift that. I don't know if that makes any sense. So when I'm feeling pulled to the vertical, because it allows me to make longer lists, is actually kind of counter to why I was liking the horizontal, because it was keeping me more reined in and realistic with things and feeling less guilty if there's blank space. Does that make sense? Okay, now we're on just rambling time. So that was my April spreads, you guys. Let me know how your month went. I know April was just kind of a total crazy month with all this shelter in place stuff. Luckily here in Tennessee, they're starting to start to reopen our economy here, but in phases. So we're feeling a little bit of that burden lifted, but I know many of you are still under like lockdown shelter in place and life is still crazy no matter where you are at with that whole thing. So hopefully you're doing well, and maybe your planner is keeping you sane, or maybe you're like, I don't even need a damn planner right now. Wherever you're at, totally cool. Okay, that is all. I am going to next film my goal video, so you will see that coming soon as well, if it's not already up. Okay, have a great day, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you soon.